don't worry about like squirreling money away for retirement in like 10 or 20 years. It won't matter.
Okay.
Either we're not going to be here, or
It just like it's you won't need to save for retirement. If any of the things that we've said are true, saving for retirement will be irrelevant.
Okay, guys, welcome back to another video. Look, in this video, we'll be talking about this prophecy, if you want to say, or negligence. I don't know how you want to put it, but Elon says in 10 years you won't have to save for retirement. My look at it is, I don't think there's going to be retirement in 10 years. I mean, the way everything's going down the pike here. But look, so his belief is that these robots that he's building are going to do all these projects working, and we're just going to sit around and eat chips and take all the money in that comes from the government supplying us with money, right? They're going to just send us checks every month because all these robots are doing all our jobs, and we're just going to sit on the beach somewhere and relax and not do nothing, which is a total crock, okay? So they're planning these robots. This is where he's coming from. He's planning these robots. There's going to be 1 billion robots out doing all these menial jobs that we're doing now. And it's a complete lie. He's looking at it from an optimistic, like this is what he's planning on doing, right? There's no way. There's no way that these robots. Listen, I can be a pessimist, but if you look at it soundly, with a rational mind, and not some fantasy that you're gonna, build this place on Mars and we're all gonna live there. No, there's enough place on. I mean, just drive out of your city and just imagine thousands of people living in all these areas. It's just, I mean, in my state alone, you could put the entire world population in it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Why we have to spend all that money to go to Mars? Who's going to do that? All right. There might be a few people, but who wants to live in that trapped environment? You know what I mean? There's no way that in 1,000 years, you're going to be able to take materials up there to be building stuff. It's nonsense. Okay. It's good to think about. If you're a multi-billionaire, you can do anything you want. You can buy whole, cities, but who's going to do that? So these robots are going to take all the work and they're going to do the jobs, and the government is going to give us money. Okay. And that's what he's looking at. I've heard him talk about this before. There's no way. These robots, I don't care, maybe in 100 years that these robots will replace menial jobs, right? But if you look at it, there's no way. Yeah, you could do that, but they're not functional. I don't know how else to explain this, but he wants to do this in a few years. Everything that he says in a few years, whether it's Tesla semis or these robo taxis or whatever it is, even his cars. I mean, I have a Tesla, so I'm not coming at this from another end. I have a Tesla Model Y. Personally, I don't like it. I mean, I'm not going to sell it, but I think it's the cost of keeping this car up is ridiculous. I mean, I have a Toyota Camry, I have a Dodge Ram truck, and I have a Ford. I mean, I just got rid of my Ford that had 450,000 miles on it, and I was still driving. It was fine. I'm going to do a video about menial living because some of this stuff is just pure nonsense to have around. Okay. And I don't understand that. But anyways, getting back to this Tesla, it's too expensive to run. You got to get a subscription for the tires. You got to get a subscription to the windshield, right? I remember the first windshield that went into this car was almost $2,000. Okay. And I got a subscription. Same with these tires. They're ridiculous amount. I mean, whatever. It's too expensive to have. The average guy couldn't, the way these cars are going, you pay $100,000 for a pickup truck. I mean, unless you're going to use it every day, I use it every day. So it's worth it to me. But some of these people, they say, what is it, 80, 90% of people that own trucks don't need one? But I'm getting off on a tangent. I'm sorry. So anyways, getting back to the Tesla car, the robo-taxis or the self-driving cars, it's 4 to 1 that they get into more accident than an average driver. Okay. So a driverless car, Teslas, not anything else. I don't have the stats on that. It's 4 to 1. So that alone, and charging this car, I put my own charger in. Okay. It's astronomical what it costs to charge this car every night. It's just ridiculous. So you're going to have a robot running around and doing they're going to be bumping into walls. Whatever. These cars, they're having problems with the fog or understanding what's going on around them. Okay. It's ridiculous. Yeah, you can drive down the freeway, whatever. I don't have a problem with that. But in emergency situation, these cars have no idea. They're sitting in the middle of the road trying to figure out what's going on. It's nuts. Now I seen a report today. They're going to start giving them tickets. And now, why would you give a Tesla car that's a driverless car a ticket? Unless it was doing something wrong. Okay. Now my wife drives it a lot and she loves it. Okay. She, she says drives better than she does, which let's leave it there. So, in order to get these robots in, to me, a robot should be built for a certain function for that particular job, right? You don't need a robot to act like a human. It's totally ridiculous. Build a robot for a specific job. And, I've talked to people that repair these robots. They work in these shops and they, high lows or whatever. Yeah, their job is specific to do that. That's all you need. You don't need a humanoid robot running around doing your laundry. It's just not practical. It's not going to work. There's just way. I mean, I've seen them. Don't get me wrong. I've seen them. They can pick up, they can crack an egg, all that kind of, But the cost, if something went wrong, figure that in there. The daily use, it can charge itself, plug it itself into a wall, whatever. But there's way too much. Way too much. Every house is different. Every yard is different. Every situation's different. And to program that, maybe 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50 years, these robots, maybe they'll, you'll be a cyborg, but there's just no way. I'm being a realist with this, okay? I don't have billions of dollars to toss around and live in dreamland, but there's no way that the government ever is just going to send me a check well, they do that to people that are here illegal. Okay. But the average guy that we pay for these other people to lounge around, maybe that's how they're figuring it. But we're $39 trillion in debt. And it's the first time since 1942, I don't know, that the debt interest alone is more than the GDP. Okay. So there's no way in hell that the government's going to send you on a check. A robot's going to get up every morning and go do your job. And you're going to sit around eating Fritos. It's unrealistic. It's not happening. And I wouldn't even worry about it. I'm not even worried about that. Another 10 years, I'll be 73 and I'll still be working. Okay. I'll be working till the day that they put a shovel of dirt on me. Simple as that. Because I can't stand sitting around. I can't. I'm not going to go out to my mailbox and look forward to that every day. I'm not doing. I'm not that type of person. There are some people that do that, and more power to you. But I don't have anything against it. It's just not my lifestyle. I can't do that. But it is what it is. You guys have any comments on it? You think you're going to be replaced by a robot? Yeah, a lot of jobs will. Same with this AI stuff. I go into AI every day, and it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. Okay. Most of the time, I do things. I just see if it's right or not. Yeah, you can pull things out of the internet and scroll down and find out what you need to know. Hey, it's good for that. It's like a search engine. But to actually take millions and millions of jobs away from people, I don't think so, because somebody still needs to program the thing to tell it what to do. It's until it has a mind of its own, it can think, way ahead. There's no way. I mean, you can program it to, play checkers and do that type of thing. But to actually say, hey, I got this great idea, unless it can think of ideas, and it's only programmed to think of the next word that you're going to ask it, right? That's all it does. So to think it's some kind of mind, it has a rationale, it has emotions and all these other, it talks to you like it's your buddy, which is ridiculous. Would you like me to do this now? Would you like me to do that? Listen, I think it's useful, but I always tell everybody, listen, I'm back in the day before cell phones, before the internet, before any of that. And I'm wondering what we did with all that time that we used before, right? I mean, just like I said earlier, you want to make a phone call? You had to find a payphone. You had to take your time, drive to the payphone, get out of your car, or you could pull up to it and make the phone call. But most of the time, if you had to tell somebody it was an emergency, there's no way you're getting a hold of them. There's no way. So what did you do with all that time? What'd you do with all the time when you didn't have thousands of TV shows to watch or movies? What'd you do with all that time? So anyways, guys, that's what I think of this as a total amount of crock. Okay. So you guys have a wonderful day. Leave the comments. I love reading the comments. What do you think? Do you think that we're going to be replaced and we can sit home and watch Netflix all night long while the government's sending us piles of money? They do send piles of money to people that are stealing it, but for us guys that have to work for a living, and gals, it ain't happening. I mean, we supply that. Just because a robot's going to go out and build a widget and they're going to sell it to you. I don't know. It's just too confusing to me. Maybe I'm old school. Maybe I just think, people are meant to work. But have a great day, guys. I will see you on the next video. Bye now.